Good afternoon and good morning wherever you are in the art world. The Art Talks are delighted to have today this talk, which will be highlighting a wonderful charity auction event for Ukraine. We are having artist and curator Maris Kilinan, who introduced us to the wonderful Maria Zayets from Ukraine, and the Kira Hambly from Hambly Hambly Contemporary Art Gallery, and the wonderful Diane Henshaw and Francois René, which will be guiding us through the latest projects. So, Maris, I would like to, to ask you what inspired you to start this extraordinary auction that will start tomorrow.
Yeah, hi Carolina. I first went to Ukraine on the invitation of our first resident ambassador, Therese Healy, to Ukraine. Our project was basically to make connections with various people in the arts and culture world in Ukraine. One of the great things about art is no matter where you go in the world, we're all speaking the same language. So we were hoping to set up a number of projects between 10 Irish artists to start with and various entities within Ukraine. We had lots of projects planned around two main centres, the museum in Kyiv and the Contemporary Art Centre in Lviv. The idea was basically to start the project in June and continue them through to September. Fingers crossed, the idea was to bring a number of Ukrainian artists to Ireland following this, and to start up a long-term rapport between our two countries in the culture sector. That's pretty much it so far. So when the war started, I was in contact with Maria and Oleg and Therese and Natalia, and I thought there's got to be something we can do to help. I'm obviously not a soldier, I can't go and fight there, so the next thing we could do is maybe try and do an art auction. Artists have been incredibly generous around the world at various auctions trying to raise money for Ukraine, and I thought, why not, let's do some things here. So I contacted Kira Hambly at Hambly Hambly Gallery in Enniskillen to suggest it with Diane Henshaw, and we basically put together the package that you currently see. There are over 40 works within the auction, and fingers crossed we'll make a nice bit of money for UNICEF Ukraine from it.
Thank you, Maris. And I would like to ask Kira, you are in Enniskillen in Northern Ireland. So the auction will be starting for a couple of days, I think, starting from tomorrow.
It starts on Friday, the 1st of April at noon and runs until the 5th of April midnight. And it's an entirely virtual auction. So everything will be active on our website, hamblyhambly.com.
Wonderful. And again, it's so wonderful to feel such a passionate, to help this incredible, as Maris was saying yesterday, passionate country that is so touching to see that is, now we will have Maria, who is from there and is with me. Maria Zayets, communication officer, German Marshall Fund Fellow, and proud Ukrainian. Maria, could I introduce you, paraphrasing some of your beautiful words that you sent us? On 24 February, I woke up with the sound of whistle followed by an explosion. 4:30 a.m., the capital of Ukraine, the city with 1,000 years history, with a population of over 4 million people. My hometown, Kiev, was under attack. Why? For what? It's unfortunately it is real. It's not. I woke up my parents with the words, "Mom, Dad, please don't be afraid, but Kiev is under bombardment." Maria, welcome. I know it's very difficult for you to re-sharing the story. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much. No, thank you very much, Carolina. And you know, when I was writing it, I didn't realize how does it sound. But indeed, you know, when I think about it, it gets me very emotional. But thank you very much for this opportunity to actually voice my personal story, but also stories of many Ukrainians who left the country and who still fighting in Ukraine. It's a great privilege, but also a great responsibility for me. For the last 2 years, I've been working at the Ukrainian Institute. I've been promoting Ukrainian culture abroad. And as many Ukrainians, I understand the power of culture and the power of cultural allies on different on institutional level, but also on individual level. And as Maurice rightly said, there are many languages in the world, but the language of art speaks them all. So the art scene in Ukraine is very dynamic and vibrant, and I really hope then when this all madness is over, we will have the new wave of programs, of mutual funds, of fellowships, of new wave and boost of creation, because that's what worlds needs to, you know, to still be humans. So, but today I hope that we sustain this kind of a balance, you know, when on the one side of Europe, people are wrapping monuments to save them and putting down the pictures from the walls to preserve them from bombardments. On the other side, hopefully, some new artworks, marvelous artworks will find new homes and will be bring to worlds in Ireland, Europe, and the world. So thank you very much for doing this, and Slava Ukraini.
Thank you, Maria. It's thank you. It's really, it's the least that we could do. As Maria, you know, we are all here for you and the Art Talks to support you in every possible way. But could we go through some of the picture that we have here that we could share and show the world what? Yes. Can
These
you?
are some shots I took when I visited
Yes.
Ukraine. This is Maidan Square. It has a very long history, as Maria might outline.
Yes, it is exactly Maidan Square. You might heard about it from 2014 when the revolution of dignity has started. Right now, it's all in the anti-tank, anti-tank weapons, so Russians cannot enter our capital. So it's our main square and our heart of Ukraine, so to say.
This is one of the biggest flags in Europe, if not the world.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's last year we installed the biggest flag in Europe, and here you can also see the tiny monument, which is not so tiny. It's actually one of the biggest in Europe, but also in the world. That's the motherland. With who defends, who is a symbol of our Soviet legacy, actually, but also a symbol of current defense.
Is the flag still flying there at the moment during the conflict, or has
Yes.
it been taken up?
Absolutely, yes.
Brilliant. That's Maria and Therese Healy, our ambassador in Lviv.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, absolutely. That's the cafe, which is called Zahir Mazoch, because Zahir Mazoch was resident in Lviv. So that's also kind of cultural stuff.
This one I love. It was a house built by an architect for his children, and it's covered in stone animals. It's absolutely brilliant. And in fact, it's the house that I think President Zelensky made his first broadcast at the beginning of the war to show that he was still alive. It's a hugely recognizable location in Kyiv. That's Ryanair flying forwards and backwards.
This is a building of Art Arsenal, one of the prominent art public institution in Ukraine. Later in the pictures there is the interior of it, but here we generally host the biggest exhibitions of modern art, but not also. So this is our heart of art scene in Kiev, I would say.
It's absolutely enormous. It's way bigger than, say, Tate Modern. It's huge, massive brick vaulted ceilings, incredible place. This is very near the House of Parliament, I think.
And I remember, Maurice, when you went before December.
Yep, I think the second week in December I went there. It was cold and wet, kind of like Ireland, but it was absolutely fantastic. I was amazed at the incredibly vibrant art scene there. Music, literature, visual arts, just extraordinary. And the energy that people had and their desire to communicate, through the arts was just phenomenal. It's going to be a fantastic place to run some projects and make these cultural connections.
Yes, and you were going to organize something with Maria, yes, in June?
Yes, yeah, Maria and our ambassador Trace Healy and some other people as well.
And we will talk about later about our virtual project that we're going to organize.
Yes, brilliant.
And this is
the pictures of the graffiti pictures of civil activists who fights for anti-corruption, for example, or who also search by different, pro-Russian parties. So that these are the famous and not so famous people who defend the human rights, but also defend Ukrainian values. It's before war, so.
Am I right to say that these two ladies have disappeared? It's that they.
No, unfortunately, I don't know. No.
Okay. This one really sums up everything for me. It's Marie will explain this one.
Yeah. So the word "ukrytya" means shelter, and after 2014, when the war in Donbass started, people started paying more attention to shelters, all over the city you can see the signs, and that's one of Maurice took picture. So all over the city there is sites on buildings guiding people, which is very actually helpful nowadays to know where the shelters are.
Yeah, this particular one points to the Voloshin Gallery, which has been used as an air raid shelter at the moment. Fantastic gallery, one of the super modern gallery run by Max and Yulia Voloshin. This is in the music center in Lviv. It's got one, I think it's the biggest organ in Europe they have repaired here, is it, in this one?
Yeah, I guess
so. Or is this the Contemporary Art Center? Sorry, it's the Contemporary Art Center. I'm not sure. No, I think this is where the organ and the church, going into the churches, I think, isn't it?
No, I think it's a Lviv City Museum. When we met Petro Ryaska, one of the Ukrainian prominent artists and curators. So here we are, the small world.
Yes, it's true.
Oh, and that's exactly Art Arsenal interior. So that's how big it is inside, and it's just a tiny part of it, actually.
it would be an incredibly difficult place to show a series of exhibitions. So when there was an artist there who apparently painted his paintings onto the walls as a way around trying to deal with the space. It's the thing I love, is like, how do artists negotiate a space when it's not just a white cube kind of thing? This would be a fantastic challenge to work with.
And this is, of course, our heart and soul, and that's Saint Sophia Cathedral, one of the main cathedrals in Ukraine, with 1,000 history, which Russians was planning to bombard in the early days of war. So we have a heritage to preserve. We have 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Ukraine, but also many more culture and art objects to preserve.
One of the things I noticed about the invasion is that Russia understands culture, and it's made a particular effort to destroy Ukrainian culture, museums, theaters, galleries.
True, but also to destroy like Ukrainian as such. They are destroying archives with documents where it stated that Russians repressed Ukrainians during the Soviet times. This picture is particularly interesting because you may see the ark, which is called the Ark of Friendship, and it was installed to commemorate, I guess, 50 years of the Soviet Union, and it's still in Kiev. And from the other side, you cannot see it, but from the other side, there is the artist draw a crack on it, because there is no friendship anymore between the nations, between the Soviet nations. There is no Soviet Union as such anymore.
It's absolutely enormous. I mean, it's a huge art.
Oh, Carolina, you're muted, I guess. Sorry.
Sorry. No, it's thank you for giving us this glimpse of, of life. And we hope that, as Maurice was saying, art is a language, universal language, that will conquer the hearts of everybody, wherever they are in the art world. But I would like to ask Diane Henshaw, because you are not only an artist, as you call an arts officer. So how can you describe the benefits of art? How can art be reach to the community around the world? What can we do?
I'm just waiting for a tractor to go past there. So I'm based out in the countryside. Hello from County Fermanagh, and from post-conflict Northern Ireland, where Fermanagh is on the border of the Republic, and obviously we ourselves have also been through a lot of difficulties in the past, but we've reached peace of some accord. And our interest in Ukraine obviously was through Morris, because Morris had visited there recently, and I'm involved in a project that he's involved in called the Drawing Box, which is a socially engaged project done through social media on Facebook with international artists. So through that connection, and also our connections through the Arts Service, who I work for part-time in the council, I know Hambly Hambly, who has been doing splendid things in Fermanagh and really pioneering the arts all through the pandemic, and helping thousands of artists to keep the continuity going in their practice, to communicate with each other, to keep the mental health at some sort of equilibrium. So whenever we heard about what was going on with Ukraine, I suggested to both Morris and Ciara that we look at doing some sort of an auction. Mm-hmm. I'd been involved in a similar one, and Morris actually also was in this same exhibition years ago for Haiti, and it was like a 50% kind of divide of finance for the artist and also for the cause. And we felt that really, you know, that we knew a lot of artists who wanted to help, but also we also wanted to help a lot of the artists as well. So it's been a unique gathering and a very spontaneous combustion in the way that this has come together, and the fusion of great minds to bring together something that will raise money for UNICEF to help people in Ukraine or people who have fled Ukraine. So it's been an absolute pleasure to have been involved in some sort of way administratively. But really, the whole credit for me goes to Ciara Hambly, who's been doing a lot of work in the background to bring together a catalogue, and with Morris's guidance as well. So yeah, no, it's been so it's very interesting to even just do this call today and to meet Maria from Ukraine. And we wish you well, and we wish you safety and safe haven and peace.
Yes, definitely. And Maurice, could you tell with Francois what you are, we and Maria, what you've been creating, and then when we go back to Ciara, on the behind the story, as we say, there is always another story, a beautiful story of humanity, and I think it's incredible and the touching how the world is reacting to this particular war. As we said, any war is terrible, and we are, you know, all our support is with any families throughout the world facing the horror of what we, you know, we've always think that could not happen to us, and yet is is happening every second now. But Maurice and Francois, please.
So to pick up on what Maria was saying earlier about the art coming off the walls and finding new homes, by the same standard, we've been working with some curators and some artists in Ukraine to show art that's actually being created from the war, right? And how it's making people feel and the reaction. And it's actually been a really, really super interesting conversation, because we went all the way back to ancient art and made our way through history of Ukraine art, which from everything I've understood has been very overshadowed by Russia. And so this is in a very beautiful way, actually, an opportunity for Ukraine art to come to the forefront, be separated from Russian art, and not necessarily stand by itself, because I think for those who know it, it always has. But it's a new visibility in the world for Ukraine art. So we're working on creating virtual exhibitions, thanks to our very good friends Exhibit, based in New Zealand. So this is definitely a global endeavor. And Peter Worrell at Exhibit has been absolutely wonderful in helping us and making it really easy to create these exhibitions. There's going to be a series of exhibitions. We're finishing the first one now, and it will actually span a few decades. But in talking to the ladies in Ukraine, and you were there, Karolina, at one point there was an image from a massive mural. And it made me stop, because it looked like something that could be out of Marvel or DC, these superheroes, but they were actually done as a mosaic in 1968. And so we've been talking to a couple of people that we know back in the US to see if, with the illustrators, they could create superheroes out of this wall. So we can take, because the beauty is they were actually painted or created out of dissent. And 50 years later, it's like life has been blown into these images. And what we're going to try and do is actually bring them out of the wall and create symbols of resistance, of hope, I think, for the world. So it's been really interesting. But look forward to this. We should be able to publish them next week. Three exhibitions, virtual exhibitions about Ukraine arts over time.
Thank you, Francois. No, and thank you, Maurice, and thank you, Maria, and Diane, and Kira, of course, to be here with us. We can't, I think every little helps, and I think it's been overwhelming. The to be there in our little, to be there for you. So thank you, Maria, for letting us be part of your a chapter. I think hopefully a peaceful chapter, and to think about art is healing for all of us. So Kira, would you like to give us a bit of one last glimpse of the auction?
Well, I would just like to say that the auction is a wonderful tribute to so many people who have contributed so graciously and with such compassion. And many benefactors have jumped on board and contributed works of art, books of art and culture interest. And honestly, it has been a privilege to bring it all together and to allow us all to recognise that art has the power to make social and political change. And art also is a wonderful way of expressing love. And I believe that this auction is an expression of love as all of us global citizens trying to support one another through a terrible time of crisis and looking towards a better future. And our love and compassion and thoughts of healing and peace are with our Ukrainian neighbours at this time, and we hope that they feel that through this art auction activity.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to you for joining us. And again, we can't wait to see the auction and the works of art. So thank you all for and Maurice especially for organizing all of it. Thank you.
Pleasure. The thing I find fantastic about the whole project is worldwide, everybody's using the skills and facilities they have to do something. It's an incredible coming together of everyone in the world. It's brilliant.
Ben. So I wish you a peaceful, if I can say to Maria, because it's, yes. And again, your words will be with us for the rest of our lives. I have to say, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for everything you're doing.
Safe.
Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah. Love and
bye-bye.
Goodbye all. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolina.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carolina. Thank you, Francois.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Diane and Maria and Kira. Thank you.
Slán Wallia.
Bye.
Bye.